Hello and welcome to live match reaction here on the Rangers Rabble after Rangers qualify top of the group in tonight's Europa League. I'm just laughing because I didn't realise until the last second that Mr. William Irwin had changed my name there. But anyways, tonight I am joined by William Irwin, Wilf Marshall and Scott Kennedy. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good, thank you.
Very good, very good. Right, we'll just jump straight into the game actually before we come to the draw on Monday, Scott. And I think that's one of the most professional performances I've seen for a Rangers team in Europe for a long, long time.
Not going to say to that. 100% agree. Very impressive, very composed. Even with all the changes coming in, it was just very, very comfortable. I think that's the thing when you're seeing Rangers play time after time. You know what you're going to get, and we delivered it again. Fantastic.
And it also has to be said, William, 6 changes. We had a young boy at right back. We had Zungu, who hasn't had many minutes, and we had Itten up front, who obviously has only started one game, I think. So to be so comfortable in Europe whilst making all the changes just gives the squad, the manager and the fans far more confidence going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we looked really comfortable. Other than that one chance that Lech had in the first half, we pretty much controlled the entire match. Obviously, when you see that amount of changes, you're always a wee bit kind of wary as to how things will go, but it was really complete control. I was impressed with Itten. I thought he was excellent. His link-up play, his movement, his goal's brilliant. He's wee kind of sidestep of the defender on the finish. And a couple of minutes later, his link-up with Hadji was really good. I just think when you look at the squad now, when the manager makes a couple of changes, or even as many as he did tonight, you probably shouldn't really be that worried anymore or concerned about it, because everybody's just playing at such a good level that there's no concerns whenever somebody drops in and somebody else, comes in to take his place.
Exactly. And Wolf, are you with us or is your stream playing havoc?
I think I'm with you. It's stopping ahead.
No, and Wolf is gone. Right, so Scott, the joys of live streaming. Right, so Scott, your thoughts on the performance as a whole over the 90 minutes, because if we're being honest, there wasn't a great deal that actually happened in the game.
As I said, it was very controlled. I just thought with that many changes coming in, I was anticipating quite a bit of disruption, quite a bit of a lack of cohesion, I'd probably say, particularly with some of the players that were brought in. So Hadji, Aribo, Zungu are players that probably haven't had that much game time in a really key area of the pitch because they all operate centrally. So I was expecting disruption, but they just slotted in. And, as Willie says at the start, we conceded a chance that disappointed to concede, lucky not to concede a goal. But then when you play over 90 minutes, you are going to concede a couple of chances anyway. Other than that, we controlled the game. And if you compare it to the performance when we first played Lech at Ibrox, I thought, we completely nullified them. So we learned. Bearing in mind that was a fairly strong Lech side as well. Moving up the pitch, I think defensively, the commentary team loved to tell us that they had made a few defensive changes. But yeah, as I said, it was comfortable. I've got really high standards as well.
I know you do.
The more I watch this Rangers team, the more they raise my standards. So even sloppy, misplaced passes, I've got to allow them. I've got to step back at times and think, right, okay, well, we are playing away in Poland. We're playing Thursday to Sunday constantly. We are facing these challenges, and once I start thinking about that, I'm thinking how well we're doing with 26 games unbeaten. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And William, you mentioned it there a minute ago. The first goal by Itten, lovely sidestep, fantastic finish. But should the goalkeeper have done better with that?
I don't think so. I think the ball's passed him before he can even react. The power on the strike was just too much for the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was funny, like obviously I was listening to McCoist at half time saying he was screaming at him to hit it low, because that's what a lot of cyclists would do, would hit it low and get straight across the goalkeeper. But even though he's not played that many games, it shows you the confidence he's got, that as soon as he gets on that side, bang, and it's past the goalkeeper before he can even react. And I think for the manager, it's great. He's got the reaction he wanted for it. It means obviously come the weekend, there's another opportunity for the manager, to look at who's going to play. I've been really impressed with Itten. I think we've spoken about this previously. I think Itten's a really good player. I think he's definitely got the attributes to be a good, solid striker for us. His ability to score goals, his 2 against Millwall were excellent. And then that one tonight's very good as well. So clearly he's going to get goals for us, whenever he's in the team.
And the second goal, Scott, cross for Barisic, header by Goldson, and then a wee header for Hadji. Whose goal is it?
Oh, it's Hadji's. Powerful header. In all seriousness, you've got to be there to score the goals, because that ball still wasn't going in. If he doesn't follow it up, I know there's another, I can't remember who was behind Hadji waiting to tap it in as well. But you've got to be there and you've got to finish these off. I mean, great cross. It was actually funny. I was probably moaning about Barisic a bit before he's actually put in that free kick right onto Goldson's head. I felt today that perhaps he was just putting the ball into the box rather than doing his usual pinpointing, putting it on someone's forehead, and then he goes and does that. But I think every week I praise Barisic and his delivery. So again, my high standards, but another great leap from Goldson. We saw it last week, didn't we, against at home to Standard, and he's done it again. So we've just got these combinations all over the pitch. Anything can, we're in this position where the game can be dull, boring, and then something like that can happen because we've got this quality. Mm-hmm. You can't take your eyes off us at the moment. It's good.
And unfortunately, Wilf, if you're watching, there's too much feedback coming off your mic, so we can't let you back in. But we've had a comment in, William, from William, believe it or not. Thoroughly deserved win, controlled the game from start to finish. Do you agree with that we did control the game from start to finish? I thought it was more maybe half an hour into the first half and then pretty much most of the second half.
I think we controlled a large majority of the game. I think, the first 10 or 15 minutes of most European games, you're kind of trying to kind of test each other out to see how each other are going to set up. You're obviously looking at the opposition and kind of different aspects of how they're playing their game, etc. But I never really felt that we were under really that much pressure at any real time. I think, as we said earlier on, other than that one chance that they had, which is very unlike us to give somebody a free header. We don't really give them away all that often. So I'm sure, even though we've won the game tonight, they'll look at that and say, how did that ball get into the box? How's he managed to find himself in that space, etc., etc. But that's why we keep as many clean sheets, because they go away and they see the mistakes that's been made and then they make sure they don't do them again. And I think tonight, all right, I think it would have been different if there's fans in the stadium, because I think going to Poland, the stadiums are normally rocking, so potentially that was a good thing for us as well tonight. But I think, you're also going there with a bit of less pressure. We've already qualified. Of course, we want to win the group because financially it's a lot of money. I think it's like another £1 million, as well as the $500,000 for the win. So like £1.5 million just for that one game is massive for the football club. In the next round of 32, hopefully there'll be some fans inside the stadium come that point. Hopefully we can start to see, the return of fans for the last 32.
Right, before we come to some individual performances, we've had a comment in from Elizabeth Howland, and she's asking man of the match, ? For me, there's only one man of the match, but Scott, I'll come to you before I speak, just in case I'm horribly wrong, because I have been known to be horribly wrong in the past.
No, I think we'll probably all agree it's Said the Ted. I just thought, as his hold-up play, his strength, and it's the old cliche. He's got a good touch for a big man, but I think he's actually more than that. I think he's actually really skillful. Mm-hmm. Some of his close control, keeping the ball in his feet, getting the ball out of his feet, and I tell you what he does have, and it's he's not blessed with blistering pace, but what he does have is over a yard or 2 yards, he's extremely quick. Probably long legs help, but it's extremely quick. I'll probably say a special mention as well to Glenn Kamara, who's outstanding again, and Nathan Patterson. Great first start in Europe for him.
Well, as you say that, Williams' face lights up. But just before we come to Nathan Patterson, well, we've seen a totally different side of Cedric Hinton's game. It wasn't just the goal; it was the hold-up play, the link-up play. I thought his all-round play tonight was absolutely fantastic, and surely now going forward, he has to get a lot more game time than what he's been getting. But again, that's difficult when you've got Roof, Morelos and Defoe as well, especially with Defoe not being in the European squad and will no doubt play more domestic games.
Yeah, look, but I mean, it's a good problem. You know, the manager's sitting on the bench, thinking, it's a hell of a performance for Cedric tonight. You know, he doesn't even need to bring Roof on. You know, he could stay back in Glasgow. He could have sat with his feet up in the house. You know, I mean that's a bonus now for the manager. So he can look at Sunday and think, right, I might play Alfredo on Sunday with Roof, but then on Wednesday night in the cup, we'll bring in Cedric Hinton and I'll bring Hadji back in, because Hadji, after he got that goal, got a wee bit of confidence. Because you see him, as soon as he gets the goal, he then checks inside the fullback and whips that really good shot. And that's what Hadji is. He's a confidence player. And when the guy's not playing and things aren't going for him, yeah, he's going to be a bit off for him. But look, he's still a young guy who's still developing, who's still learning the game. But if you look back even a year ago, 2 years ago, to some of the guys that are now playing really well in our team, that's the difference. Being patient with players, it's grown with the team, it's grown with how we are, you know, moving forward as a group. I mean, tonight, the fact that we can make so many changes and look so comfortable shows you how strong the squad is. But even getting back to Cedric, I would have no worries about starting Cedric in any of the up-and-coming games. Because, let's be honest about it, Lech are probably a higher standard of team than most teams in Scotland. So that result tonight and that performance tonight for Cedric is fantastic for the manager. It's obviously fantastic for Cedric. And obviously, you know, as a support, it's great to see Cedric getting that goal.
And you know what? I was going to ask about Hadji, but Scott, I worry for Hadji from a fan's perspective that we're not going to stop asking about him until he plays a blinding 90 minutes. And that's just not the kind of player that Hadji is.
No. I mean, I'm not going to hide my love for Hadji because I just think he's a tremendous footballer.
Yeah.
As Willie says, to a certain extent, every single footballer is a confidence player. But you do get some that are probably more sensitive than others. And I think Hadji is one of those. Absolutely. He just needs a run of games, but he's not going to get a run of games in this team because of the high standards that the team are currently setting. And that is no fault of his. I think the fans, because they have, and when he came in last season, the impact that he had, probably will have more patience than other players. You know, the likes of Brandon Barker, he gets absolutely slaughtered. And I thought he came on and did all right today. I mean, he only got a 10-minute cameo. So, you know, I don't worry about Hadji. I think he'll get an opportunity through an injury, or you know, or a suspension or something like that. A natural rotation, if you like, that happens throughout a season. Don't forget, we could be playing up to 70 games this season. So there's a long way to go, and plenty of opportunities, and I'm sure he will shine.
Now, this is the first time tonight that we've been live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So we can see comments from everybody. So if you send in all your comments, we'll be able to see. And Elizabeth, actually, I should ask, you asked us who our man in the match is, so who's your man in the match? And Scott, listen, I'm going to come back to you because we've seen, obviously, tonight a bit more of Bongani Zungu. What did you make of his performance? And was he unlucky to pick up a yellow card in the first 6 minutes?
Are you asking me because of what I said after the last match?
Yep.
So Zungu again, right? As I said, I was being really critical in my head, watching the game, thinking we could do X, Y, Z better. We are an absolute nightmare to play against because we're so organised. The team, the spine of the team, the central spine of the team knows its job and does its job very, very well, and that's without the ball. And Zungu contributed a hell of a lot to that in keeping the shape. The yellow card, I can't believe he was booked for that. I mean, that referee, I think he thankfully only made a couple of questionable decisions, but that was extremely harsh. And after that point, a player who hasn't played much could potentially go into his shell. He didn't. He carried on. He kept sticking the boot in, and he played very well with the ball. Again, I thought. I mean, compare it to Ross County, he was far more positive. Mm-hmm. And I think he probably could have played a quicker pass, but he played it a bit safe. Again, that's me being critical because I've got to remember.
But Scott, just on that point, Scott, Jimmy, do you think maybe that's what Gerrard asked him to do?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, possibly. But if you look at if it was Steve Davis in there, he's playing those passes. I think that's the difference, and that's me being critical. And I shouldn't really be critical because we've won another clean sheet, 2-0 away from home. Let's not forget that we could be staring at six wins out of 6 in this group. That's incredible. So Zungu's come in. He's barely kicked a ball for a good few months, and every as the game goes on, he's getting better. So he's reassured me, and I'm happy to. It's a really important position in the pitch, so the standards need to be high. So he's come in and he's done well. And
you never answered whether you thought it was a yellow card or not, because we've got Wilf Marshall coming in the comments, and again, sorry Wilf, but the video stream just wasn't working. He said it wasn't a yellow, and we've got George Kennedy saying it wasn't a yellow. So I don't know why Scott won't answer, William, but for you, was that a yellow?
I said it's never a yellow.
Never heard that.
No, I don't think it was, but the referee was very much like that the whole night. I kind of felt for Zungu because after that it then becomes difficult to make too many challenges, and I think you're still getting used to him as a player. I think we're still getting used to the kind of player he is. We've been very lucky for the last couple of years with like Stephen Davis in the team, because he's got that ability to have a good range of passing. He sees the ball early. I mean, the ball at the weekend against Ross County that got us going was fantastic. You don't see many better than that. And I think for Zungu, it's tough. It's his first time playing in this country. A bit like Cedric, we just got to allow him time to settle. Yeah, look, he might not play that many games in the coming weeks potentially because, when the strongest 11's available, does he start? Probably not. But that's why the manager's got options, and that's why he'll continue to look game to game and decide what's best. But I thought he did okay. I still think he's got a nice range of passing. He's certainly combative enough in that midfield. But I think, like everybody else, you just want to see more and more and more of him. Because the more you see of him, the more you can judge him, and the more fans at the end of the season, if the club decide to buy him, can look and think, yeah, look, that's the right decision.
Well, Elizabeth's back in the comments and she says that Kamara was her man of the match. And Scott, well, it's kind of hard to argue with that. I mean, Itten was my man of the match and I thought he was fantastic, but Kamara is just made for European football.
Kamara's just made for football, full stop.
Yeah, that's true.
He's can never run out of plaudits for him. Mm-hmm. I said when we first signed him and I first saw him, I thought when this guy gets in the team, he's not leaving the team. And I know he's probably had a spell at some point last season where he didn't really play. But the guy is supremely talented, and you can't get the ball off him. I've used this expression before. He plays like he's got wing mirrors. He can see what's around him when he's got the ball. His positional sense is fantastic. He's used to the ball. And I tell you what, he's starting to add now. Positive, direct running with the ball.
Yeah, I noticed that, yeah. But see, Scott, just to quickly ask you this as well before I come to William for Nathan Patterson, before he reaches through the computer and punches me. The one big thing that annoys me about Kamara, and he tends to do it more often than other players, and I do think he is one of our best players, I have to say, but he always has that one dodgy pass in him. And we've seen that tonight as well. It's just that slow pass, it's never getting there, and it always seems to put us in trouble.
That's the other guy's fault. Listen, if Kamara puts the ball somewhere, that's where you're supposed to be. I genuinely think he's that good because he plays passes inch perfect. Sometimes he plays a blind pass as well because he's expecting Barisic to be there or expecting Tav to be there, and sometimes they're not. But ordinarily, when he plays that pass, I'm thinking Barisic should have been there, or Tav should have been there, or whoever should have been there. And going back to Hadji, I think that's the same problem Hadji's got. I think Hadji's more concentration. I think he's got all the skill, but he just lacks the concentration for 90 minutes in a game. Hence the reason why he can be sloppy in the ball. He's not quite aware of what's around him when he gets closed down really quick. But yeah, you're right, he does, but that's not his fault.
They're not called hospital balls when Kamara does them. Right, William, talk to me about Nathan Patterson. I didn't actually realise that was only his second start for Rangers. I thought he had more than that. But what did you make of young Nathan's performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought he did well. I think he looked comfortable. I think Nathan's just one of those kids that he's just going to get better and better and better. He's learning for a team that doesn't concede goals. He's learning for probably the best fullback in the country in terms of his aggression going forward. Yeah, he might never score the same amount of goals as Tav, but let's be fair, there's not many fullbacks that score the amount of goals that Tav does.
No fullback scores the amount of goals Tav does.
No, look, and I think, for Nathan, this last 6 months to a year has been huge for him. I thought when he came in tonight, he didn't look flustered at any point during the game. And at the end of the day, you're coming in for a big European game. That still mattered to us tonight. We still wanted to win the game. So it shows you the confidence the manager's got in him, that he put him in for the start. It would have been easier to have him on the bench, and then when you're 2-0 up and, the game is over, you can bring him on for the last 20, 30 minutes. But the manager done it the other way around. He started him, gave him 60, 65 minutes, and then he brought Tav on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge boost for Nathan. And it was also great to see, Kieran Dixon on the bench, Jamie Barjonas and Brian Kinnear. And, the manager throughout this competition has given, a chance to some of the younger guys to be on the bench, Leon as well. So I think it's fantastic for the academy, and Nathan should be very proud of his performance tonight.
Right, William, it's not a youth show, right? That was released yesterday, and it's available on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you download your podcasts. Shameless plug. Scott, just on Patterson, the one thing he certainly doesn't lack is confidence.
No. Do you know what I like about him? He seems to be emotionless. He seems to have zero emotion. So he's not fazed by anything. He didn't seem nervous, didn't seem overawed. He just thought, right, okay, well, I'm here. I'm getting on with it. I think perhaps he's definitely not as attacking as Tav, is he? And when you're looking for someone to come in and he's not perhaps making that extra 20-yard burst that Tav does, it does change the slight dynamic in the game. But I mean, 19-year-olds coming in again away in Europe, said that before. He was solid. I think was he? Did he get caught? Maybe. And that I tell you what,
he was caught a couple of times, Scott. But again, he's only 19, and it was his first European game.
I tell you what, I was really impressed with actually. The Lech Poznan, obviously very aware that he's 19-year-olds making his European debut or whatever, and they doubled up on him a couple of times, and he handled that really well. So, really encouraging. Really encouraging.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of pace about him. William, Will Douglas on Facebook has asked, and this might be slightly harsh, but do you think Goldson and Balogun are our best defensive pairing for European games? Now, obviously, Hollander's been out for a while, and then he obviously had caught COVID, but what do you think, Goldson and Balogun, best defensive pairing for European games?
That's a good question, actually. At the moment, yes.
See his picture there, it looks like he's staring at you, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually does. It's quite scary. But yeah, look, I think, again, getting back to what we said earlier, we're blessed with a very, very strong defensive core. Philip, up until that game in Benfica, had been outstanding for us. And then he had a couple of errors that night that caused a couple of goals. But look, as far as I'm concerned, we've got 3 very good centre backs, and then you've also got Calvin that's able to come in and play in that position. So I think we're just very fortunate. But at the moment, the manager seems quite comfortable with Leon and Connor, and I don't think anybody could actually come out and argue that fact. But if Helander had come in tonight and played next to Goldson and we'd won, I guess feel comfortable no matter who plays at centre back, because Connor's a great quality centre back, Phillips the same, and Leon, he's just come in and fitted into the team so well, and that can't be easy, especially if we brought him in quite late on because of what happened to Nico. But the fact he's come in at the team, he played the first game of the season at Aberdeen. I mean, let's be honest, how many of us had actually seen Leon play before he pulled on the jersey for that game against Aberdeen? I certainly hadn't.
No,
and he did well that day. And since then, whenever he's been called upon, he's done a really, really good job. So, yeah, look, I agree with Will. I think at the moment, it's hard to disagree.
Is it a case then, Scott, that we don't have a... see, when you do that smile, Scott, it really, really scares me. I don't know why, but is it a case that we have two best defenders, as in a defensive partnership for Europe or domestic, or is it just simply the case that we've got 3 exceptional centre backs?
I think we've got 3 exceptional centre backs, and I'd actually probably disagree. I think I would have Goldson and Helander as a central defensive partnership, and I just think they're more robust and solid. Balogun still gives me the jitters and the GBs a little bit, because he can be a little bit erratic and he can get pulled out of position a bit, whereas Helander's far more disciplined. But what I tell you what I like about Balogun, he's got that Bugera adventure side to him, which domestically is vitally important, because we come against teams that sit in, so you need different ideas and different things to happen. And when you have a defender driving the ball into midfield, it confuses opposition. And he did that a couple of times tonight, actually, and it's quite effective. Whereas Helander, and I know people say he had a howler against Benfica, and he probably did cost 2 goals, but I'm willing to make exceptions, because up until that point, he was flawless. Absolutely flawless. So I think no one's entitled to make mistakes, but I think we can give him a pass. But that said, is he going to come back into the team? Does he have a right to come back into the team? Absolutely no chance.
No, but that's it. Everybody's allowed a bad game. But listen, gents, this has went on a wee bit longer than I expected, so we'll just kind of wrap things up a wee bit. And if I just pull this up, if my new fancy setup allows, there we go. William, if you look at that, if I just take that away, sorry. If you look at that, and 14 points, top of the group, played 6, won 4, drawn 2, lost none. What an absolutely fantastic achievement by this Rangers team. And it actually just shows that year on year, Gerrard is improving us in Europe.
Yeah, look, I think if you'd asked anybody at the start of this group, would be a 1-4, drawn 2 and lost none. I think if you've been totally honest, not many people would have said that was going to happen. So to be undefeated in this group is phenomenal. As Scott said earlier, we could easily have been 6 for 6, easily, given how well we played in both games against Benfica. It could be an 18 points, which is unheard of for us, So, look, I'm just extremely proud of the players. I know that in previous years we've done well, but this year is like a new level. We've taken it to a new level. To go to Poznan and 1-2-0, to go to Liège and 1-2-0, to get the 3-3 draw in Benfica, which we should have won. We should have beat Benfica at home, and we did beat Lech and Liège at home. So, the manager deserves huge praise as well as the players, because tactically we're spot on almost every single game, and it's hard to argue with the stats when you look at them there.
And it's not just Scott that finishing top, gives us that. Is it 1.5 million? I think it is that we get for finishing top of the group. It's also year on year restoring our reputation in Europe. Yeah.
If I'm quite honest, I don't know what level we're at anymore. I think we're up a level from last season quite comfortably, and if we were to play that Leverkusen tie again, I'd fancy us. I really, really would, because with that clinical and that good without the ball, we're just a nightmare to play against. And I don't know what level. I don't know how far this team can actually go. I mean, tongue in cheek, I can say we'll still be in Poland come May, but I mean, I don't know. I'm speechless.
And also, I should say 14 points. I can't get comfortable on this chair tonight. I don't know what it is. 14 points, William, our highest ever points tally in a European group stage.
Yeah, look, I think just kind of adding to what I said earlier, it's honestly probably been my best European kind of watch. You know, I know under Advocat in the Champions League we were very impressive, but it's the way we're going about it. You know, we went to Benfica, okay, with the Europa 10 or 15 minutes in Benfica, and then the player gets sent off. But some of the football we played in that game in Portugal was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the performance in Liège was very, very good. You know, the performance tonight with so many changes was very good. You know, the performance against Benfica at Ibrox, yet again, was very good. You know, we showed a different quality against Standard Liège at Ibrox, falling behind twice, coming back to win the game. And we fought by a very stubborn Lech team at Ibrox. So we've done a wee bit of everything in this group to take points. And it's really enjoyable to watch. I'm not nervous watching these games because I've got so much confidence in the players to get the result.
And just finally then, a question to both of you, obviously draw depending. Question number one, and I'll come to you first, Scott. Who do you want? And question number two, how far can this Rangers team go in this competition? Or do you have a preference of who you want, or do you just not care?
The easiest tie possible. There's no point in a glamour tie at this stage because there's no fans in the stadium. There's no point in wishing for anything else. What we need is, from a practical point of view and a financial point of view, is the easiest tie possible and the easiest route to get as far as possible in this tournament. You know, if it comes down to it and down the line, you know, you can't really look past wanting the English teams at some point. I really want to test ourselves against them, because you know, it could be a scenario of Leeds back in '92, where they're thinking, oh, we'll turn these boys over, send them back, and it'll be the opposite. I've just got the utmost confidence and faith in this set of players. How far can we go? No one can beat us. How far?
I know. Do you know? I would absolutely love a crack at Man United. And saying that, I say that, and they probably hammer us 4-0. But there you go. Same question to you, William.
Somewhere sunny, so we can all go and have a jolly up. We can bump into Wolf in Europe, have a few beers.
Well, we would need William. We would need Wolf to get us the tickets.
Yeah, that's right, man. Wolf knows everybody. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Look, I think being honest, anybody, I don't really care at this point. I think to get through the group, top in the group, phenomenal. To be seeded, you know, going into that draw on Monday, I'll certainly be trying to sneak out my workplace for about 5 minutes to see if I can see who we get in the draw. And I'm excited about it. You know, I mean, that's the excitement of Europe. I mean, normally any other season, as soon as the draw is made, whether it's the group stage or the knockout phase, you're sitting on the laptop and you're looking at, you know, how do we get to Portugal? How do we get to Switzerland? How do we get to Italy, Germany, Spain? And that's part of the buzz. So I hope for all the Bears that are watching and when the draw is made on Monday that we've got that opportunity to travel and go and support our team in Europe.
Absolutely right. Well, gents, this is our longest video we've done yet, so we shall stop it there. Thank you to William. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to everybody watching. In future, we will be streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So make sure you subscribe, you like, you follow, so you don't miss a thing. So thank you to everybody watching. Again, Scott, William, gents, thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.